Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. This is the Big Girl Diary. I got not only a good one for you today, but this one is going to be a little different than what you're used to. Man, oh man, oh man. I thought I would talk a little bit about politics today because it's getting too good. Too good. Normally, I leave my politics with Laura, but however, I just had to. DeSantis, DeSantis. Okay, we're going to talk about DeSantis. The DeSantis sent migrants up to Martha's Vineyard. Then talk about this is something. Uh, VP Vice President Harris had migrant workers on her doorstep. I mean, the bus came up and dropped off, I think, about 100 migrants on her lawn. You can't make this stuff up. And talk a little bit more about Cara Delevingne and her being in the man burning in the man burning thing that they have out there in the desert in Nevada. They do that once a year. Talk a little bit about that, but OMG. You can't make this stuff up. You truly can't. And I'm looking at the vice president. I'm like, is that Massachusetts Avenue or is that New Mexico? And I'm thinking if that's New Mexico, that's going to be hysterical because in New Mexico, the governor of New Mexico is sending migrants up north to do sanctuary cities. So that is interesting. Now, before I go any further, I want to let you know that I got monetized. Yes, I got monetized. And and if you would like to donate, you could donate to $ Big Girl Diary, capital B, Big, capital G and Girl, and D and Diary. And just to help me along so I can improve. So I'm really happy about the monetization, really happy about that. And I want to thank all of you for helping me get there through my through the subscribers. So I thank you. Now, outside of that, that right there is done. Wanted to let you know that. But oh my goodness, DeSantis. I mean, these Republicans, and it's really interesting because these Republicans are calling, or conservatives are calling out the liberals or the Democratic Party on their mess. They're calling them out. They're like, okay, you called for this. You said sanctuary cities. You said if people from other countries want to come. Now, before we get into this, and this is all about policy. It's all about policy because it was policy that put these states into this position, the federal policy, to allow these sanctuary cities. Joe Biden said, okay, come. But the people who are coming not realizing that you are used as a political pawn. That is it. And look, politicians don't give two hoots about anything about you until it's election time. And that's when they want your vote. They want to maintain their job and they will promise you that they will paint the Brooklyn Bridge pink, knowing that they can't, but they'll say it. They'll say it. So I just thought that was just really like, whoa, okay, so it's policies. Also, another policy, the foreign policy, is stop destabilizing these countries, stop overthrowing their presidents and putting whom you want in there. And then you would not have this issue to where there's so much turmoil in these countries, they would not flee. They would stay. But that's not what they want. They want to destabilize. They want people to come here and they want their votes, but they don't want them in their cities. That's the thing. That's the thing right there. So, DeSantis, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, I was just too taken aback. I'm like, OMG, this right here is too much. So, DeSantis says, okay, I'm going to put, what was it, 50 migrants, and they keep on calling them migrants, and that is so disingenuous. Look, news news outlets call it for what it is. They are not migrants. They are undocumented people. Undocumented people. They came here and they just went through the courts. They have no legal standing whatsoever. So just please be honest in what you're saying. And people who have a problem with calling people the correct status, shame on you for knowingly deluding yourself and muddying the situation. Stop doing that. But he puts him on his private plane and sends him up to Martha's Vineyard. Now, you can't make this stuff up. Oh my goodness. Now, look, I'm neither a Democrat or Republican. I'm an independent. So when I look at it from a spectator's view. Because I'm not going to get involved in this mess. I mean, I used to get involved in politics. Now I just sort of look at it from a spectator standpoint and I laugh because I think it's hysterical because you got people getting very upset. Very upset. Oh, you doing this? Oh, you're doing it. Yeah, they are. And when they have you all arguing, they sit down and have cocktails or bourbons, clink their glasses, drink, have a good time. Everybody below them are arguing and fighting about the issues. They don't care because they just want another term in office. That's really it. I just thought it was too much. So DeSantis, he sends them up there on his private jet from San Antonio to Martha's Vineyard. I could only imagine the confusion the people are feeling being bussed like a ping pong back and forth, back and forth. They go from the border through the courts, then from the courts to San Antonio, from San Antonio, a jet to North. Oh, it doesn't stop there. Now, remember, Vice President Harris, before she was vice president, she was talking about, oh, yes, come, come, we want you, we want you. And then when she realized the amount of people that were coming, because keep in mind, those caravans coming up during Trump's time, that was backed by the Democratic Party, and they were seen going down to these lines, giving people debit cards, giving them debit cards, and having them come up to make Trump look bad. Well, I can't say what their intentions were. I could only say what they did. That's what they did. Now you got all these people at the border, and then Trump is like, hey, Mexico, Presidente Fox, could you hold them in Mexico until we can get this stuff sorted out? And he did. And that lasts for about 2 years, maybe a little bit longer. And that's when Trump started putting people into these cages. Now, those cages, whether you don't want to believe it or not, they were constructed by Obama. He built those cages. Yes, he did. Nobody didn't want to come out about it and say, oh, Obama did this, because if you blame Obama, you can't blame the first black president. You can't do it. You can't say anything negative about it. Allow it to go. So that that is what happened. Oh my God. Sorry about that. That was loud. So every live stream there's something. So there's always something. Okay, so I'm sorry. So they couldn't do anything about that. About saying anything about Obama, because you didn't say anything negative. If you did, you were crucified. Now, I admit I voted for him. I was so caught up. The first black president. OMG, somebody looks like me. Oh my goodness. And I was happy. I'm like, yes, in my lifetime, yes. Until the second year, I'm like, oh, oh. But that's what, but But Kamala Harris, when she was in California, she was, pulling for that. Now, the wild part is, now that she's vice president, she had all the migrant people on her front lawn. I'm looking at that, and I was like looking around, looking at the houses. I'm like, that street looks so, I think that's Massachusetts Avenue, and the people are just sitting there, just standing there on her lawn. You can see her house. It was very interesting. It was very interesting. And then, Vice President Harris was like, Muriel Bowser, Mayor Bowser of DC, look, I got people on my front lawn. You better do something, because you made this a sanctuary city. This is what I'm thinking. Sanctuary city? Oh, yes. I got these people on my front yard. Yes, Howard alumni. Yes, I believe you're a Howard alumni too. Soro. Okay. Yeah. Come and get these people and get them off my lawn. This was not supposed to happen this way. We're trying to get them to be our voters. We're trying to get them to be Democrats, trying to get them to vote for Democrats, and we're going to find some kind of way to make them voters before the 2024 election. That's what I imagine. Doesn't mean it's true. That's what's going on in my head. So I'm looking at, I'm just like, wow. And I'm looking at the people. The people look so confused. They're like, wait a minute. Okay. I was just in Mexico. And they're looking back and forth like, look at all this stuff. Look at all these big houses. These are mini mansions up here. This is something. And as you look at them, they're talking back and forth, looking like, okay, I'm hungry. Where do we eat? I have no food. I don't see any stores around here. Now, what has been done with the people that were coming here to DC, they were dropping them off at Union Station. Union Station is like 3, 4, maybe 4 blocks down and a couple blocks over to the Capitol building. They were sending down south, either Texas, Arizona, or New Mexico, would put the people on a bus for free. They paid Greyhound or whatever place they used, sent them up here to Union Station, and they were putting them in homeless shelters. That's not what you agreed to. You said this is a sanctuary city. You would get housing. You would get every tangible that you would need. You would get, because this is a sanctuary city and you're protected here. Okay, protected, but you're in a homeless shelter. You went from having a home to having no home at all. No food, no money, no nothing. And you have your nice little bags in a homeless shelter. And the people in the homeless shelter I know they must be pissed. Like, what's going on here? And it's going to cause a lot of even more problems because people are losing jobs left and right. They're losing their homes. Watch what I say. When when the government starts putting people, migrant people, into homes before American citizens, oh, it's going to get ugly. And the bad part about it is that the people that came here heard the call and they're like, look, I'm in a bad situation here. The jobs are gone. Money is not coming through. Our government is corrupt and there's all this stuff going on. And I could go to America and these Democrats are saying, hey, come, come, come. You'll have the American dream. You'll have the house, you'll have the car, you'll have everything which you need. Just come. We want you. And then when I get here, I'm in a homeless shelter next to somebody who's sitting there scratching their head saying, hee hee hee, wipe out. I'm just so silly. There was a guy that was let out of a mental institution, St. Elizabeth's Hospital. He's walking around homeless, which they're allowing a lot of the people with mental health needs out of the psychiatric hospital out onto the streets. But that's what's going on. Not only in DC, AOC, the representative, was screaming, we want Latinos here. Don't do that. You bring them, and these are my people, and blah blah blah. And what did you do, AOC? Because you're quite quiet now. You're real quiet because you were at the House of Representatives screaming about how Latinos are being treated and how they need to be treated better at the border and blase blase. Look it up what she was saying. Look it up. Have you heard AOC say anything as of yet? She's been quieter than a mouse in a church. She said one thing. Where's her paperwork? Where's this? Where's that? But other than that, she shut her mouth about people coming from the border. Now, when all of this occurred, as long as it was down south and you have these sanctuary cities, it was out of sight, out of mind, and it was okay. They were fine with that. But once, who was it? Oh man, Donald Trump said to Nancy Pelosi, well, since you want them so badly and you're saying this, we can ship them to your area. And then Nancy Pelosi came out of character and said, why are you being so mean? You're over there weaponizing immigration. You're weaponizing it. Look it up. What was it? 2016? Was it 2018? When somewhere around there. And she said you are weaponizing immigration, and then she shut her mouth. Now these governors are like, look, I'm tired of this. I'm tired. But oh my goodness, but when these governors, I don't know if that was the governor of Texas. I don't know if the governor of New Mexico, because he followed suit last. It was Texas, Mexico, the governor of Texas, and then the governor he started sending them up, and then the governor of Arizona. Then, last but not least, the governor of New Mexico. I'm not sure which one sent the busload of people dropped. I think there was about 100 people in front of Vice President Harris's house on her lawn. I was done. I'm sitting there as a spectator because I'm just looking. It was brilliant, and I thought it was hysterically funny. Not at the people's plight. Don't get my laughter confused. I wasn't laughing at the immigrants. No, I was laughing at the situation that Democrats put themselves in by putting all these policies and saying all these things and making all these promises, knowing that the country is going down. You still saying the United States is the richest and man, look, you can go right down there. You can go 50 mile, actually Haymarket, Virginia. That's about 50 miles outside of DC. Houses are like about what, 2 miles apart? I got lost. I was going to Centerville, Virginia, and I sort of got lost and I took a wrong turn. And I'm like, wait a minute. These houses are getting a little further apart and a little further apart. And I'm like, wait a minute. Um, where's everybody at? I was like, oh no. But people are being told, come. We don't got it. Everything's falling apart. We're broke. Congress keeps on spend keep on they call it quantitative easing. Keep on printing this money, passing it out, coming out with all these packages, and you ignorant folks who are taking this money and doing some wild stuff, you think they don't know what you're doing? They're gonna come and get you. And then say, with all this, come on. Come on in because we are doing this what is it called? Modern oh man, modern money theory, the MMT, modern money theory, just print more money to oblivion and having nothing to back it up with. Whoever came up with that, you're a fool. You're a straight fool. And we'll leave it as that. But I'm just, I literally start to go on up there and try to find where President Harris lived so I can come up there with my phone and live stream up there. I started to do that, but I said, no, I don't want no problems with Secret Service because the press was up there and they were told to leave. And do I want any problems with the government? No. No, I don't. I see what they do. Mm-mm. But it just was wild. Now, having said that, the last thing I wanted to talk about was Cara Delevingne when she went into the desert, in Nevada desert, doing it's called a dead man burning thing that they have going on, and they do it every year. Well, whatever she did, caused a huge problem. Oh, my computer's getting ready to die on me. That would be terrible. What's that noise? Okay. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness. my my mouse died on me at the wrong time. All right, so Cara Delevingne goes into the desert, and whatever she did. Now, there's something about the desert when you go, and some people sort of do meditation. See, I don't want to get into the spirituality of it. I'm just going to leave that alone. That's going down a different rabbit hole. But whatever she got her hands on was way too much for her brain to handle. Way too much. Wild stuff goes out there. The wild stuff goes on out there in the desert anyway. That is what you saw. Now, I hope her family got her hands on her and to give her some help. Whatever she did, I hope they found out what it was, but she just was mentally gone. Now, my other video, you could check it out and see. It was 5 minutes of her just walking around aimlessly. You could just see it, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. But she participated in that man burning bonfire, and check it out. There's some wild stuff going there. Where's that noise coming from? Okay, I hear noise. All right. So, what are your thoughts? Okay. Hey, how you doing, Nibs? Do you have any comment on this? Between Desantis, them sending, him putting migrants on a private jet to Martha Vineyard, um, buses coming from down south, either Texas, New Mexico, or Arizona, sent the migrants on. Oh my goodness, on Kamala Harris's house. They were on her. I know, I know. You can't make this stuff up. You can't. This political fighting, and that's all that it is. Being a spectator. I'm not a Democrat or Republican, but I do vote. Either the Democrat or the Republican, the one that lies the less, the least, and believe me, they're neck and neck. Yeah. And Cara Delevingne, when she had her issues out there. Okay. Newsom. Oh, he is something. How are you surviving him? Yes. Yes, thank you for saying it because I don't think anyone believes me. There is a lot of homelessness all over, and they're telling people, "Come on in, bring more people in." You can't bring more people in when you are in a downward depression. The economy is done. It's going to take us a long time to recover, and you want to bring more people in, and we're worse off than they are. We should be going there. Yeah, there is homelessness all over. There is homelessness all over. Most definitely, LA, especially. Oh my goodness, San Fran. San Fran is something. Yep, yep. Now, here's an interesting thing. Now, what they do with the homeless in DC is this: they set the homeless out in places to where when people come in, you'll never see them. And if you go on the side of the Potomac River, and it's all on the DC side. That's where they have the Georgetown Pier. You'll see the Robert F. Kennedy what is that called? The Robert F. Kennedy Center off the water, the Watergate building. When you go up, go on the bike path, and it would lead you right there. You walk up through the path, and you're going to see people living right alongside of the river. It's sad. I mean, my old man and I, we were riding a bike. Um, yeah, he was like, honey, you're gonna get on this bike and you're gonna ride it, and I'm gonna sit on the back, and you're gonna do something, cause this. And he was right. Love you for it, honey. I still do. And we saw this guy that looked like Mel Gibson. I'm like, is that Mel Gibson? He said, no, that's not Mel Gibson. I said, but it looks like him. And there was a bunch of people, and this was like 3, 4, about 5 years ago. Now, I thought about going down there, but I'm thinking that might not be a good idea for me to do because, yeah, it is dangerous. I don't know what would happen. I mean, people have no place to go, hungry, and they need something. Now, where I live at, I saw this family, and a family walking, and there was the two daughters, a husband and a wife. The wife was in the back, the husband was in the front, and the two daughters were in the middle, walking around the area. I happen to be in the Columbia Heights area, and I'm just like, wow. And like when you look at them, they looked scared, like, but it looked like that they had Mm. Every time I tape, pre-recorded or okay, I'm gonna ignore it. And you can see them. They were out of place. No, nothing. I am so sorry. Okay, Nibjab said, oh goodness gracious, I can't see it. Oh goodness. It says, no, I do not know that mentally people mixed in with drug addicts. Yeah, but it's not only just mentally ill people and drug addicts. It is people who literally lost their jobs. They got kicked out of their homes. I'm sorry, so loud. They got kicked out of their homes, and they have no place to go. They sort of separate their house, separate, and they may go live with a family member or a friend. Split people up, and it gets really hard. And now you have people that like four people can live in a two-bedroom apartment, and that's what people are doing. People are shacking up, living together, and to try to make ends meet, getting any kind of job that they're able to get. If they gotta do whatever to get income in, because it's getting really bad. So yeah, but when they did that and they had those people out there on front of the lawn of the vice president, I thought that was hysterical. For me, keep in mind, not the people. I'm not talking about the migrants. I'm talking about them doing this political back and forthness on the policies, and that's what it is. The Democrats put these policies in place, and now the Republicans are saying, "Okay, these are your policies. You deal with it. These are yours." Yeah, it's really something. Oh, if you want to call it, and please do me a favor, because last live stream, and I want to apologize to you. Someone called, and I didn't. I'm using a cell phone. Using a cell phone for now. I'm going really low tech until I can get more things because I am monetized. And if you feel like you want to donate something, you can. Um, uh, Let me know that you want to call in, because if I'm talking to somebody and you call in and I can't hear the beep, so I can't hear it. So if you want to call in and tell me what your thoughts are, that would be great about this whole situation. Here's my number, 202-292-7536. Call in. And if you want to come up, hey, how you doing, Judy B? And if you want to come up, you can. And you don't have to show yourself. You could come up on video and say your piece, say what your thoughts are on it. I would love to hear it. And I know this is a little different from what I normally do, but I just thought this right here is wild. Like I said, they were dropping people off down there at Union Station, not far from the Capitol building, not far from the United States Supreme Court. It's really wild, really wild. Oh my goodness, all these emergencies vehicles always come down my area. Okay, I'm done complaining. So if you want to call in, please do. What say you about Desantis? What say you about the migrants being on DeSantis sending what was it, 50 people to Martha's Vineyard? What say you about people being placed on Kamala Harris's door, front lawn, literally standing on the green of her grass? And what say you about Cara Delevingne being in the Nevada desert, doing the Burning Man, and turning out the way she did? So if you want to call in, please do. If you want to come up on video, please do. I would love to hear your thoughts. Okay, did I have the thing? current television. Yeah. But I have to say, I mean, I just thought it was really something because when Desantis did that, I'm like, oh, smack. Oh my goodness, that is something. That is really, really something. I'm thinking you can't make this stuff up. Now, I think the Democrats had pushed the Republicans too far, pushed them too far with these. I want to say they are beyond liberal because at one time, I guess maybe just to some degree, I am a liberal, but the way they pushed the definition, I'm an ultra conservative right wing Republican according to what they define being a liberal is now. It's like whoa. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, hold on. What the? Oh, please, 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 don't make me. I am so sorry. 202-292. Let me make sure I have the right number. 202-292-7538. Try it one more time. 202-292-7538. Yeah. Try it one more time, please. This is crazy. Please, I hope this. Did you 202-292? Make sure. Let me call myself real quick. Let me call my cell phone. I hope I didn't give out the wrong number. That would be terrible. Okay. See what number that came. I hope it's. I hope I didn't give you all the wrong number. Please, I hope I didn't. Yeah, 202-292-7538. 202-292-7538. Oh, I'm over here busting everything up. You said Nibs that we have many homeless. Oh, here you are. Hello, Big Girl Diary. How you doing?
Hi.
Hey.
So we have this problem with the immigrants, and it's a big problem in California because, as you know, with the prices that are skyrocketing with the material, there is just not enough homes for the people that actually may even have a job, that have families.
Yep.
And you're right about them sharing. Now, if you don't have enough home for the people here, and you're bringing in more people,
yep.
I mean, there's a problem.
Yeah,
you don't have enough shelter. You definitely do not have, enough services. So what's gonna, so that's why we're seeing just an increase in homelessness here in Los Angeles.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Oh, and if you want to call in, please tell me you want to call in, because if you call in, I can't hear the I can't. It doesn't ring. But let me ask you this. That's not what I want to ask you. I want to let them know that. Now, do they have tent cities out there in LA?
Yes, they run along this. They run along the along freeways in downtown LA. Let me see where else. You just see them everywhere, and in certain, like let's say in areas that are not as rich, what they have, you'll have what is it called? Those motorhomes.
Yes.
Parked, just lines and lines. I mean, they're just parked all over the street. So the residents that maybe they don't. I know they don't have their home in Beverly Hills, but it's still their home. It doesn't,
That's right.
And they can't find parking because you have just homeless encampments. Just
now. Let me ask you a question. What are the ordinances about parking an RV on the street?
This is what's going on. It's been happening for a long time. So before you had the homeless and in downtown, right? You had the Skid Row area. So what happens is that they started to bring up downtown LA. So they started kind of moving the homeless further south. And ACLU came in and they were like, no, you can't do that. Those are public streets. They can be there. You can't disturb their sleep. So that meant hands off. Oh,
so then in other words, there is no public ordinances about people parking.
There was before, but then, with the ACLU launching lawsuits, the police were like, okay, we'll leave them there. We'll leave them alone. So what do you get now? You have more people, and you have, even on TikTok, I don't know if you have this guy that goes around downtown LA, interviews homeless. They're actually making their homes on a sidewalk so that a pedestrian, you have to get off the sidewalk so that you can walk, and you have to walk on the street because there's no room with their, like what I call mansion tents. That block all the sidewalk.
That's wild. Because over here in DC, there were some I can't call them. They were crossed between homeless people and protesters that were in tents right across the street from the White House in a business section down there on 16th Street. It's in Northwest. It's really something, and it has gotten worse. So whenever people come in, they move the homeless, and they just, oh my god, it's so terrible. Oh my god.
I mean, there's the Skid Row area. I was there recently. There was a guy, and you would not believe what I was seeing. He had one of those bathtubs, those spa. What is it called? The whirlpool. I don't know how do you say?
A sauna?
What I'm talking about?
A sauna?
A jacuzzi.
Oh, okay.
He had a jacuzzi, and another one had a treadmill. Where is he going to plug that into?
Wow. Now that right there just shows how far people have fallen to where they're bringing jacuzzis and treadmills
and boats that are like that they just pull with a car and they're living in a boat. But if you think about it, I started looking into things and how this, the plague started. Because do you honestly think that they're moving their vehicles, let's say those RVs, do you think they're moving it? Or are they just dropping, whatever they have in the waste into the streets?
That is a good point. That is a good point.
Yeah. There's LAPD has a station in the Skid Row area, and they were having problems. The LAPD officers were getting bit because they have a lot of rats there. So they were getting, the rats are the ones that they have the fleas, and the fleas are the ones that carry that disease. So they were getting so a lot of police officers were getting that disease, almost like the plague.
Wow.
I mean, it is completely out of control. And I don't know if you've seen this. A lot of things did not make a lot of sense to me. And I'm not like, oh, this is a crazy person, conspiracy theorist, or anything like that. If you watch, Netflix has a documentary on this cult that was in Oregon. And what happened is that they needed the votes. So what these people did is they went out on buses and got people that were homeless and shipped them to Oregon.
I did a video on my other channel about the issue that's going on there in Oregon. It is terrible.
But this happened a while ago. But they went to Washington, they went to different places, talked to these people and said, hey, come on over here, come on over here. They shipped homeless over there because they needed the votes. And that's what they did it for. And this is a documentary on Netflix.
Yeah. This is something, and guess what? It's going to get far worse. This right here, the Democrats, in my opinion, the Democrats are doing anything to get votes, anything, and it's just something, and just seeing how they're balancing people, immigrants coming from other countries that that are like, oh well, it's horrible in my country. Let me come to the United States. There's no jobs, no nothing, and then when they get here, they're like, this is not what I signed up for. This right here is not what I thought America would be. Why am I in a homeless shelter? You promised me this and that. I was going to get tangibles. I was going to get health care and food. And here they give you a Medicaid card, a food stamp card, and now you're going into a homeless shelter.
And that's the problem that they're not understanding. And it is not that we're being cruel or anything by putting up the borders. That's not cool. What's going on? There are caravans of people coming.
Yeah.
That they do not put up in the news. They just don't do it. But they're having major problems.
Oh yeah, it's really bad. But one thing that that isn't being said is America needs to stop going down to those countries and destabilizing those countries, and then people would not run up here. We need to stop doing that. Leave their governments alone. Stop putting in whom we want in their countries to serve, that have our best interests and not the people's of those of those prospective countries. It's outrageous and crazy.
It is, especially when we have this mess going on here. And I'm actually glad Desantis is doing that, and that the Texas governor is doing that, because you know what? It's these policies. Do they just want to ruin other states?
Yeah, it is.
You know what? And that's what it's about. We're already living in misery. Now they just want to make it more miserable. And a few, like, I think it was during the last election, that they were voting for more taxes to help this homeless. They were supposed to raise a certain amount, like $1 billion, right?
Right.
Where did this money go? Because they have put these lots, they have put up these, their sheds, basically.
Well,
but if you do the math, I mean, with all that money, there better be a whole lot of these sheds, and I don't see a lot of these sheds around. Well, so I have to wonder what's going on with the money, and I think we have to accept that, like in Mexico, people they're like, hey, our government is corrupt. We accept it. We already know it. We're still in denial, I think.
You know something? You are so right. Because we are in denial. We are still trying to get over one of the senators. What's his name? He oh man, he had me laughing. This thing that he says. He had sex. Oh my goodness, he's down there in Florida. He's a representative. Not Cruz. Cruz is in Texas. I can't think of his name right now. Gates. Gates. That he had sex with a woman. And now they're like, oh, well, he's 18, human trafficking. I mean, all this other crazy stuff. I'm like, well, no, if he, and then if a politician cheats on his wife, it's like, oh my goodness, he cheated on his wife. Oh my, really? But where the money is going, okay, the
Where
money's
is the money
going.
going? And then I've noticed that
It's going out of the
like
country.
they used to have funds. If I ran my bank account like the government runs its bank account, I'd be poor. I'd be like broke.
Not only poor, you would be arrested. You would be arrested.
Yeah, I mean, they put. If you notice, I don't know if it's the same where you're at, but if you notice, like they'll say, "Oh, we need a proposition for the homeless." Anyone else, like, okay, they say this proposition is for homeless. Every money, all the money is going to go into this bank account. What they do is it always says that they put it under the general account, and from there they make these committees, which they put in people, their own people, to be in these committees. Meanwhile, their friends or buddies are in these committees trying to figure out this homeless problem for years, getting paid a whole bunch of money.
Oh, wait a minute. No, hold on to this, because Judy B says that's why Democrats are pushing for no ID and using people of color as an excuse, saying that we cannot afford the IDs. The Democrats can use issues, excuse me, can issue them IDs, but they don't have to want to, so they don't track them. And that right there is very true. That's very true.
That's very true. And in Skid Row, the homeless area, in order for them to pass legislation or put it on the ballot, they were going to downtown LA, to the Skid Row area, and they were offering, hey, sign this thing here, we'll give you some cigarettes, we'll give you whatever, which is illegal for them to do. Guess what? It was a slap on the hand for the people that they caught.
Oh, it's really something, because they are encouraging people outside of the country for people to come here, and the Democrats were caught during Donald Trump's time. They were going down giving people these little pre-funded Visa cards, Visa or MasterCards, and they were handing them out to people, saying, "Come up, we're rich." No, stop telling people that. Oh, and another thing, people look at American TV as this is the norm. It is not the norm. You cannot look at Hollywood and think that that's how everyone lives. No. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's exactly it too. Hollywood doesn't have these freaks that don't even live in the state that they're supposed to, because they get out of here, they get out of California, they don't want to pay all those taxes, and they're pushing for policies over here, let's bring in everybody. Meanwhile, they're in their mansions.
Oh yeah, keep in mind, they even though that Democrats, they also live in mostly Republican areas, Democratic strongholds, and they have their houses in a Republican area. That's a little shady stuff what they do. But now at the lower level, you have to live in a, if you're a city council or whatever. Now, where the mayor live, not the mayor, Kamala Harris lives, she lives in a Republican area in DC, in Upper Northwest. And I believe, I'm looking at that, I'm like, that looks like Massachusetts Avenue. Either Massachusetts Avenue, New Mexico Avenue. And I'm sitting there thinking, I got a good chuckle out of that. She lives on New Mexico Avenue, and then more than likely the governor of New Mexico sent people up on her front lawn saying, in your face, these are your policies. Or MacArthur Boulevard. I'm not quite sure, but they are very wealthy areas in DC. Those streets, as you go further into Northwest, the further you get to the Virginia area or the Potomac River, the more wealthier it is. So I'm just like, has to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time that they start living the way they force us to live.
Yep.
Watching them, I mean, it's nice for them that they go in their limo and, they don't have to see things, or, in the areas that they're gated.
Mm-hmm.
But perhaps it's time that they see what we have to suffer, because I can't imagine, let's say, if I live in in other areas that are, let's say, gang-ridden areas, and plus you have homeless, and you have crazy people just, acting up. You have, I mean, and then you buy your house because that's all you could afford, and you're forced to live like that.
Well, no, what, I believe, because I was really in the socialist realm. I read the Karl Marx, the Das Kapital, the Communist Manifesto, reading all those things, and I'm like, okay, this is what this is what has to happen, until I asked one question. And when I was running in these circles, okay, who distributes the funds? Crickets. No one did not want to even touch that question. I'm like, okay, this is not for me. If you can't answer all my questions, no. But if we really want to stop this, truly stop this, then we would not only withhold our votes, spend one cycle and don't vote for anyone. Let them know that we don't trust them. Withhold our votes, and as far as these companies, hold our pockets. Keep the money in our pockets, or do business. All this noise. And then do business with the people that have our same ideology. Put all our money into those banks. Only do business with those people until we do something to show them that we are not taking it. They're going to keep on doing it. And this is my 2 cents.
I think it's because I think we're not educating ourselves enough. We have relied on mainstream media to tell us, and what they're telling us is false. They're giving us false information.
Oh yeah.
And we, as the voter, are not taking the time to actually open up that ballot, because they usually, you'll get a list of vote yes on this and vote, without us looking at what we're voting for.
Well, to piggyback off of that, they know that we are not going to pick up a book and read it. We will look at a video, or we would listen to someone else's talking points and take that as gospel. We don't think for ourselves. We don't. That's why we're in this, in my opinion, while we have all these issues. If we were to become more to show our own political efficacy, to show that okay, I know what's going on in the government. I know what this is. This is. And until we educate ourselves, and we can't wait for anybody to do it, we need to go to the public library, use our card, and start reading. This should never have happened at all.
Most definitely, and I think it does come from our own ignorance, because people over here, like the state of California, if you ask somebody here, oh, we want this bill to help the poor, okay, everyone's like, yeah, we feel like we're poor. But if you go on to California, where their website, where they define what's poverty, it's basically some kid working part-time at McDonald's. Let's help those. Anyone else, after a certain 30,000 or something, they're considered middle class. Here they are, including me. Here I was voting. Oh yeah, well, I'm poor. Not knowing that they had put me in another category.
Yeah, and they're doing that. And like the middle class is going one of two ways. It's going like this. One part is being crushed down, the other part is being sent up. A smaller part of the middle class is being sent up. The most part of the middle class is going down. It's being crushed down to being poor. Now, what got me was let me see, I was in Northeast area. I can't remember what I was doing, and this lady got out of an expensive car and went in to the welfare office. We call it welfare. It's called the economic. Oh my goodness, the economic security, whatever, to where you get food stamps, a Medicaid card.
Benefits.
Thank you. I was going to eventually get there. Thank you. And when I saw that lady get out of that expensive car, I'm like, damn. Oh, it's getting really bad. And then I noticed some people going into clinics because now there are a lot of clinics around DC because there's so many people coming into DC to where the hospitals are being overwhelmed. Now they have clinics, medical clinics around DC, and then they have emergency room within a clinic to where it relieves the hospital's emergency rooms to where they see people Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week at a specific time, and people are lined up like 6 o'clock in the morning and they open up at 7. It's getting really, really bad.
I mean, somebody's got to pay for that.
We don't have money.
It's going to be us through taxes,
Yes.
more taxes.
Yeah, and my bonus son, I'm so proud of him, but I'm not really his father and I were like, your politics. How are you going to pay for that? Well, I don't know, but I just want to do. No, we did that, and look at what we're paying for. We wanted this, your dad and I. We wanted this. We wanted that, but we were not concerned of how it was going to be paid for. We just wanted it, just to want it. And now that we got it, we have all these taxes. How are we going to get ourselves out this huge mess that we're in?
We're not. Look at this education now. Somebody that, hey, I had to work, I couldn't go to school. Now that person has to pay for another person that decided to go to school. We're paying for them.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And now that we're paying for them, now the prices of the schools are going to go higher because if why wouldn't I? The government's going to reimburse my pocket, so now it's going to be even more expensive.
As they say, that is the American way. We live in debt. We live in debt. We don't pay things straight out. We don't even put it on layaway. We put it on credit. And that's why schools are a lot of money. And now with more people coming in, that's going to be even more debt. They're going to want an education. And it's like, how are you going to give them an education and we can't even afford what we have right here? It's like what Joe Biden said, I'm going to cancel 8 million people's debt from schools. 8 million people, but aren't there like what? How many people? What was it, about 40, 50, 60 million people that owe student loans? It's outrageous. And then you only focusing on 8 million, and people are like, yay, 8 million. Are you mad? That right there is less than 10%. And even with that 10%, who is going to pay for that debt that you chose to do? Now, I chose to go to school. I went to the cheapest school because I wasn't going to pay anything back. So what I did was I took out grants and scholarships, no loans. Then when I went to graduate school, I took out a student loan, but I went to a school that I could afford to pay back. I didn't go to Harvard or Brown University or Carnegie Mellon, all these expensive schools to where you're only going to have the same type of education and you're only going to make the same amount of money when you get out. You'll be paying that student loan back for the next 100 years.
Yeah, and go ahead.
Oh no, that was it. I just shaking my head on it. It's just ridiculous.
And that's the thing that if you, I think it's called Dirty Jobs. The guy from that show, he gets people. People have forgotten. I mean, there are other jobs like for me, like you don't have to go to college. You can get a good paying job. Look at how much a plumber makes or a welder. Good Lord.
Oh my goodness, they make. Oh my goodness. And I was telling my daughter and her friends, I'm like, plumbers make a lot of money. Like my old man is a master carpenter. He's been doing it for about 30 years, and he makes hand over fist and money. And I was telling my daughter, oh, well, her friends, plumbers, they make, well, they ain't, I'm like, do you know what kind of money they make? They work with their hands. They make a lot of money. They have a skill. They have a useful skill that is always needed no matter what. I don't care where you go, anywhere in the world, you're going to need a plumber.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Okay, if we have to pay for something, like for somebody else's education, okay, plumber, carpenter, something where they're going to be able to get a job. I'm sorry, but women's studies, a 4-year degree, a master's degree, or a doctorate degree, if you have women's studies, where are you going to get a job?
Okay, just that alone. Okay, just that alone is ridiculous, in my opinion. You have a degree in women's studies. Okay, a woman getting a degree in women's studies. You don't know who you are? So you got to study. Okay, let me stop it. Let me stop it. I'm going to get ready to go off the rails. Someone said Desantis is a human trafficker. Okay. All right.
And this is what I say to people. If you have a house, if you have, extra rooms, do the honorable. Why don't you invite some of these people into your home? Let's see what happens. Like all these movie stars, Cher was one of them, Bette Midler, they have mansions, 8,000 square foot mansions where they live alone. But do you think they bring any of these people inside?
No.
Other than to be their mates?
Okay. Ooh. You're getting to the nitty gritty of it. No, they're not going to do that. No, they're not. And for this, okay, I know I'm going to get a lot of heat on this. We have to take personal responsibility for what people do. That's number one. Now, if you like, my ex-husband's from Nicaragua, so when he came, he already had something going on. He already spoke English. There was a lot of things that he was able to do before he came. So the people who are coming here running from what the United States has started. However, it's like, okay, now, what skills do you have? And that's the thing. Now, Canada, you get vetted. You have to have skills in order to get it in Canada. Canada's like, no, you got to have skills. Even Mexico. Now, my children have dual citizenship. So I wanted him to use his Nicaraguan passport and go down there. And they were like, wait, we need to see 3 months of a certain amount of money in your account before you even come in. I was blown away. I was like, what? What do you mean? It's just going to, no, you need to have 3. I mean, Mexico has such rough immigration laws. And I was blown away. Now, when I want to go to Nicaragua and to go down there, because my children, they have dual citizenship, and I was like, well, I want to go, and these are some of the things I want to do. And so she was like, well, you could stay for about 6 months. And I said, well, what if I want to stay longer? Well, no, you could stay for 6 months. And I'm like, well, my children have dual citizenship. And she didn't ask me anything about how much money I had. That wasn't even an issue. Just me having an American passport, I could just simply go there, but for a certain amount of time. And so she said, well, if you want to work and do this, by your children having dual citizenship, they can claim you and you could keep going. But if you don't, you get stopped. How much money do you have? And that's what countries are saying. Do you have money? And if you don't, stay where you are. That blew me away. That blew me away.
That's every country except for ours.
Yeah.
And it's not sending a right message, because the caravans that are coming, elderly people are, I mean, these are long walks. They're dying.
Mm-hmm.
Over here, it is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good service. And then the people here, we already pay so much. I mean, here in California, I'm sure it's the same way where you're at. Look at the prices of a house. You think that your kids are going to be able to, get a house? I don't know how old they are, if they have a house, but if you see them, or your grandkids, are they going to be able to afford a house?
Yeah, like where I live at, and I don't around my area, majority of the houses in DC go for about 800,000 and above. That's just in certain parts of Northwest. They vary around DC. They vary, but mostly they're like 800 and above is like the norm. They go into millions of dollars, which is crazy. And then you have people do it, like my ex brother-in-law. He did the. I said, Carlos, that was stupid.
I mean, with what they're paying, okay, you can increase, like they did, okay, we increase the salary, but now we pay more for stuff. They might as well have just left everything as it was, because now it's just, you can't make enough money or save enough money to put a down payment for a house, because they keep going up.
Yeah, okay. They keep going up because people do the wildest things. Like my ex brother-in-law, what he did was he was making $30,000 a year. Now he and his now husband wanted to get a condo because he didn't want to live where poor folks lived. Oh, I'm above that. So he got a condo, $300,000. Keep in mind, he makes 30, and his husband made $30,000 a year and secured a loan. They get this condo, and they were paying $3,000 a month, and and also got a $20,000 arm at an adjustable rate arm. I'm like, oh my God. And after when they done that, they lived there for 3 years, high society, throwing soirees and, well, I call soiree, I don't know, throwing parties, and invited me, my husband at the time, and our children over to their home. And it was beautiful, a nice area, beautiful area right off of Route 50, going through Virginia. And it was like 3, 4 years later, he had to abandon all of that. He couldn't keep up with it. He had a dream, and that's what he wanted, and he went for it, and everything fell apart. Now you have people doing that. Now you have that loan there. Who's going to pay for that? Not him. And no one came in to relieve him of his loan so that they could continue paying it and live there. It's really wild. But DeSantis, when he took those people up there to Martha's Vineyard, I'm like, whoa.
I'm glad they can call it human trafficking. I don't care. But perhaps the same people that see, these politicians that have their beautiful homes there, perhaps they can start giving up some of those homes, maybe shelter some of them, see how generous they really are with their stuff, not with our money, how they just spend taxpayer money like crazy. Perhaps if it's coming out of their pocket, they won't be as generous.
That right there, I would love for people who want to implement these policies to actually pay their fair share. They're never going to do that, because as long as they have talking points and people believe the garbage what they say. They're like, oh well, he really no, he's cutting his steak. He doesn't give a crap about anything that you say. He'll shake his head, yes, and go on to the next. They're never going to pay for it. They're never going to give any money at all to back up what they're saying.
Exactly. But perhaps having, because I'll tell you, once Tent City start there, they're not going to like it.
Oh man, it's already started, and right now they pushed them on the side of the Potomac River. They pushed them out of sight, and the wild part is, I couldn't believe it. They are down in a rich section, and I'm really surprised because the really wealthy people live in that area now. As long and they have their own security to where they monitor. They have people driving around, police driving around monitoring the area, and then they have park police coming up and down. But they're living on the side of the river, and as long as they're out of sight, they're out of mind. But now when they start coming out from that area, then it's a problem. Now you bring more people to add to the problem. Oh, this is going to get ugly.
They should continue to send them there. Like that, it's going to become a problem that they have to actually deal with. Since Obama lives there and all of them, they're not liking that. They talk about poor areas while they're in the rich areas.
Oh yeah. It doesn't, as long as they don't see it, it's a great talking point. Let me put $20,000 to a charity. Let me show people that I'm doing something. No, they're not doing zero. They're not doing anything at all. If it's anything, they're making more of these policies, putting this country even deeper in debt, having people believe that we're, this rich country, and we're not. We are a country that lives off of maybe like what 20 major cities bringing money in. What is it? Was it Miami, DC, New York City, Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles, let me see, San Francisco, Atlanta. Oh, what else is it? Houston, Dallas, that's 10. Dallas, what else? Help me out here. I know I'm missing a whole lot.
They're making them, I'm actually glad. Send them to San Francisco. That place is already, it's already horrible.
But it shouldn't be.
One of the most expensive places, and it's horrible. You know what? Send them to Beverly Hills. Actually, send them to Calabasas.
Oh, man.
Send them up there,
I mean, they sent them...
Because, Hollywood likes to put likes to have influence on people, so let them have that.
Okay,
let them see what we have to suffer.
Calabasas, yeah, but when Desantis sent them to Martha's Vineyard,
that's the best.
You got billionaires that live up there, and they dropped them off in the billionaire's backyard. You wanted these policies, fine. Here's the people you wanted. Now do something.
And it should be that way, because Texas, the borders already have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
California, the border, it has a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm. And it's like the people that live right there, and like people talk about the issues, what goes on when people are coming by. You find dead bodies in your yard. Oh my goodness. I couldn't even imagine that. I couldn't even imagine going out in my yard and I just see all this wild stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But they don't have to see it. You have the AOCs that, that will go, they'll go and do a photo. They're looking like, oh, they're disappointed that they have these people in a jail. It looks like a jail. Take a picture, and then what does she do? She goes back to her office.
Mm-hmm. I mean, these people are so phony and beyond phony. But if we, as a people, want to do something about it, we can. I
We
would
need
say,
to vote them out, or either start going in ourselves. I think one part of it is that, like LA, they'll vote. It doesn't matter what Hispanic, as long as it's a Hispanic person, they don't care. That's what they'll vote for. And I'm
yeah,
like, yeah, but do you know what are they doing for us? Why should I give this person the vote?
hey, I was guilty. Look, I'm gonna. I was guilty of that.
I was guilty too.
I
Not until it started hitting my pocket.
you know, I mean, and I was so like Democratic. Anybody, they had to be a Democrat, and I'm just like, I had Democrat on my brain to where I was so blinded that it was so crazy until my old man, honey, I love you. He was like, okay, what have you gotten from all of this? What did you get personally? What did you get out of this? And when he posed that question, I had to stop, and I'm like, I got no, I got no, um, I and I was like, I got nothing. He said, precisely, you got nothing. Everything what's going on, you're not getting anything out of. You have to get something for your vote. In order to get my vote, you have to give me this. If you don't give me this, you don't give my vote. When he put it like that, it blew me away. And he said, you've been wasting your vote for all these years, and I've just been shaking my head, and I can't do nothing but love you because you're crazy.
Yeah, and that's what's been going on, and so now that's why I'm just waiting to eventually retire and just move out of the state, which is what a lot of people are doing.
Well, look, Newsom. I call him not some. I call him not some at all.
A nuisance.
Nuisance. What he has done, and correct me if I'm wrong, even if you leave the state, he's going to tax you for like what, 8 years? Even if you do leave, you're still going to pay California taxes?
He actually tried that, and ACLU told him you can't do that. Finally, they did something to say, no, you're not allowed to do that. You can't tell a person you have to pay the taxes here when they're living somewhere else.
Well, wherever you go, just make sure you look at the taxes, look at the city, look at the income, and
I did already.
Good.
I actually bought a house there already, and I'm prepared to go because I'm tired.
Congratulations, because what's going on here? I see people leaving DC, and I'm just like, what am I going to do? I'm just trying to decide where do I want to go. I'm still looking at what I can do. And the great thing about doing YouTube, I could go anywhere in the world and do YouTube. So my job will go anywhere. And I don't know. It's getting really wild. But I'm glad you have a house. And this right here is another thing that people do not do. They do not buy homes, they rent. Now, having said that, I'm getting ready to contradict myself and totally off topic. The market is crashing. And now I know it's crashing in some areas because it has crashed, but it's crashing in different areas at different times. Does that make sense? Are you with me? Oh no.
Here, some of the houses here are going down, but some of the other places, like say Texas, where people are trying to get away from California, they're going up.
Yeah, because there's an influx. Like we had an opportunity. when the hit, I can't even say it. I'll have a blue marker around my on my on my um on my video. But if we get the when we had that, we had 2 years to get skills. We had 2 years to do something while all this uncertainty was happening. And many people didn't do that. One of the first things I did was I'm like, okay, let me do YouTube. I like to talk. I make quasi sense. and I like to talk about a lot of things. Politics, big girls, delusional people. That's what that's what I've been doing. So I'm just and now I'm starting to make a little coinage out of it. I'm starting to make a little bit of money, and I'm like, okay,
that's good.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Actually, I had sent you a message on Instagram.
Okay, let me check it out. Go ahead.
Because I had sent you a message because I was looking into the Marilyn Manson case. And I started off, and I made a video. I have it, but I haven't posted. It was on Ashley Morgan Smith. I broke down, her allegations of abuse. And I actually, since I was here in LA, I went to that liquor store where Marilyn Manson used to be. Where he used to live, and I took photographs of the entire building because she, how she said that he kept the place dark. She didn't know, she did not know what time it was because he kept it so dark, and that he wouldn't feed her and all of that, right? So I scoped out the area, and so for her to say like I couldn't even see when the place has 8 windows all around, because I took a picture of all around the building, and then that area is it's La Cienega and Santa Monica area where you have every block has at least 3 or 4 restaurants. So I was looking into her allegations, to disprove that, okay, I didn't even know what time it was. There are 8 windows. What stopped you from looking out the window, seeing is it day or is it night?
I'm trying to find. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find you.
Go ahead.
I'm looking up as you're talking, and I'm trying to find what you're describing. And I don't want you to dock yourself. I don't want you to do that.
No, it's Ashley Morgan Smith. So she had that. So she was saying, okay, she said, okay, he wouldn't feed me, and then get this, he would not feed me, and then she said he made me work as his chef. I don't know if she made if she connected that, because if you're working as his personal chef, you're around food. So how she didn't get some of the food, I don't know.
That right there, she has an axe to grind, and I don't know if she jumped on board with Evan Rachel Wood. I truly don't know if that's what she did in order to.
I think so.
To back up.
That she's like naive. She grew up in Calabasas. Her dad was the basis for Muddy Waters.
Oh man, I love Muddy Waters.
And Little Feat. That was her dad. Her dad was a musician. Her mom is a producer. She does documentaries. So I don't. And then she right away. I guess she graduated school, and then is a model.
Okay.
And I think a model can only be a model for so long, right?
Yeah.
And I think now, because all of them are getting, Hollywood standard. If you're getting in your 30s, you're like a grandma.
Yeah. I'm not. Well, Hollywood now has a different standard of what talent is, and now they're jumping now Evan Rachel Wood, as delusional as she is, and I'm putting it mildly. If you just look at the levels of delusion, and I'm going to leave it as that.
I
When
actually
she
have
had,
a theory of why she's doing this.
please,
I mean, I don't know, because I'm just saying it's my opinion. But, you know, she's getting in her 30s, right?
Mhm.
And just like I found this website, like you can go, you know how much they get paid? Because she has a lot of labels on her.
Mhm.
If you see her, she survived domestic violence. She's, you know, now she's, you know, she likes both sex, you know, she likes boys and girls.
Uh-huh.
And so she has all these things, right? So she gets actually paid
Mhm.
if she goes to speak.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it was correct, the number that I saw, but she's asking for some $300,000.
Yeah, and that right there needs to be exposed, because people don't know when people come out to speak, as far as things on that level and using star power to bring attention to it, they are getting paid. I could only imagine how much was getting paid for saying, I am this, and I'm the spokeswoman of DV. I'm the
Exactly.
spokeswoman of
That's
that.
why
They're
I think
getting
if
paid.
you look at her, she has all kinds of labels for herself. All kinds of labels. So she can go speak for, you know, okay, she's bisexual now. Oh, now she's a victim. Now she's this. Now she's that. Meanwhile, she truly, like, she did this Phoenix, it's like, I guess it's a foundation. And she only took out a certain amount of money, right, that they can bring into this foundation to help victims. Let me tell you, with that amount of money, how are you going to help victims?
Mhm.
You can't help victims. And the purpose of it was to protest and make laws, to go and make laws. Let me tell you, there's not one state where there isn't a law already that has something against domestic violence. If you can point out a state in the United States that says that it's okay for you to hit your spouse, that nothing's going to happen to you, which state is that?
Yeah.
And I can guarantee, I mean, because all states have that. They have domestic laws against domestic violence.
Yeah, and it's very true. It you know, it is very true. Everything what you're saying is very true. But now what some people do not understand is that they have to enact it. It's law, but if they're not enforcing it, you don't come up with another law. That law is not going to be enforced because you didn't enforce the first one. When they make a law, okay, fine, it's on the books. Now what? Now you enforce it, and that's what people are not getting. They have to enforce the law.
You see, law enforcement, when they go to a house, you have domestic violence.
Right.
And if you see this Phoenix Act that they incorporated in California, let me tell you what they have proposed. 20 years for you to be able to, okay, like you're getting a 19 years that you can say, you know what, I was hit or whatever, and you go and arrest that person, like 20 years later.
Yep. I thought that was
the statute of limitation.
I thought
That's
that
what
was
they
interesting.
proposed. Then they were like, oh, hell no, this is going to cause a lot of problems, you know?
And once Evan Rachel Wood's declaration came out, then I was like, wait a minute. Oh no. Because Congresswoman Rubio lost her seat.
And there's a story behind Rubio. Rubio used to be married.
Uh-huh.
And
to Rubio over here in Florida?
Oh, no. This is California, the Rubio, Susan Rubio.
Yeah, her. But I thought she was married to the senator the representative over here in Florida.
No, she's not married to him, but she was married, and supposedly there was domestic violence. But there's rumors of it not being completely true and being done for the purpose of getting a seat, and because she was already getting divorced, so that pushed her up.
Well, yeah, that right there. Everybody loves a good story, and I'm not okay. Let me not say that sounds
I don't know
terrible.
if it's true,
Let me stop. That
allegedly
sounds
that
terrible.
happened, but now you have her, now you have Evan Rachel Wood, who is clearly not a victim. Clearly, she's not a victim. She's pretending to be a victim while she's getting rich. There are so many true victims and actual victims that can actually go talk to Congress and tell her story of something that really actually happened to her or him. Doesn't matter, where they actually victims, where people actually, women, men, they have to leave the home with just whatever they're wearing, have to take their kids like that. And what is her foundation? It closed because she really was. I mean, she made the Phoenix Rising, which basically it was her little studio, as far as I'm concerned, a film studio.
Oh, there's a lot behind what went on in that. I'm just reading that stuff. I'm just shaking my head about all the wild stuff that went on that Ilma Gore, Evan Rachel Wood did, and then one of the girls, she I went on her LinkedIn page, and I can't remember her name right now, but she was linked into that and wrote her thesis on it. I'm like, OMG, she wrote her thesis on using Evan Rachel Wood. Oh my goodness. Evan Rachel Wood is a one-woman wrecking ball.
She's not a victim.
You're right. She's not a victim. However, the young woman wrote her thesis, including Evan Rachel Wood, in her thesis, proving domestic violence in Hollywood. Now, Evan showing that what she said wasn't true makes her thesis invalid. Who's going to trust that? Who is going to trust whatever she said now? She might as well go back and scrap that thesis, throw it away, and start over again, and not use Evan Rachel Wood and find a different source discussing domestic violence in Hollywood, because she was the wrong one.
In Hollywood,
yeah,
and these people in Hollywood, when you have other people like real women and men that are actually suffering, she couldn't do it as a regular person. She had to do it on these Hollywood people.
Well, I guess maybe I don't know, but that's what she was doing, and maybe she thought she would have a shoe-in by being an assistant to Evan Rachel Wood, to be able to get access to these people because she's in Hollywood, and now she has someone in Hollywood, and okay, I can get this, or I can get that. Oh, hold on. And if you do want to call in, please type something down so I would know. Do not call without texting, letting me know, because I can't hear it. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I started finding out things about her, and like I said, I went around Matt's, that liquor store where he used to live, and I took pictures to show, like, okay, there are all these windows. Why didn't you look out the window? If you wanted to know the time? Because she said in one of the articles, she said that she was able to, that he would allow her to leave, but yet she says that he wasn't feeding her. Like, okay, if you were allowed to leave, there's a Trader Joe's like half a block up from there. There's a bunch of restaurants in the area. So I'm not sure what she meant. And then some of the allegations that they made, even Evan Rachel Wood, I mean, her allegation is absolutely ridiculous.
It is, and it really is, but it goes back to what we allow people to do, to make these outlandish lies and not call people out on it. Like I just earlier today, I did, okay, give me about a minute Somebody wants to call in. Give me about a minute.
I'll text you later so I can tell you a little bit more.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Evan Rachel Wood. If we were to do more about it, then we wouldn't have these issues. If we were to hold people accountable for their lying and stop with whenever a person lies and then you can go ahead and call now. Whenever a person lies, then they start crying and then we comfort the person who's crying because they lied and not the person who they lied on. We have it totally backwards. We need to comfort the person who was lied on and get them better. Alrighty. Hello, Big Girl Diary. How you doing?
Hello.
Hey, what say you?
Hi, my name is Ramona.
How you doing, Ramona?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm calling because I have the misfortune of having Desantis as a governor here in Florida.
Oh, okay.
And this migrant situation is utterly ridiculous. I hope he gets into trouble for it.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching, actually, a gentleman by the name of Brian Tyler Cohen.
Okay.
And he divulged some information that I thought was very interesting.
Do tell.
Okay. Firstly, he says that immigrants, believe it or not, have contributed to this country, just to name a few products, such as Levi's jeans, Google, of all things,
okay,
donuts, video games, hamburgers, and even American cheese came from immigrants. Not only that, but they contributed in 2016 $2 trillion. Trillion with the T to the GDP in 2016. Now, also, again, I want to make sure that he gets this that he gets credit for this information. His name once again is Brian Tyler Cohen.
Brian.
And in 2018 they contributed half a million dollars. No, excuse me, $500 million to state, local, and federal taxes.
Okay, now let me ask you one question now.
Sure.
Are you saying, because now they are calling people migrants who are coming from outside of the country into the country, they're calling them migrants. They are not, they are undocumented people. So are you talking about the undocumented people, or are you talking about the migrants who have a legal status and are working and contributing? Are you talking about them?
Correct.
Or
we're talking about the ones that have a legal status and contribute to society. Contribute to our economy. And America was built on migrants. America was built on the backs of slaves and migrants. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
And we have a former president who shall go unnamed, who openly stated, why can't we have immigrants coming to the country from places like Norway, which is code word for blonde-haired, blue-eyed immigrants? Because I guess in his opinion, those would be acceptable immigrants.
Well, yeah.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
It's just that this kind of thing this really boils my blood.
Well, yeah. As long as the people that I'm just going to talk about the elephant in the room. When the Ukrainians came in, and I reported on this on my other channel, Politics with Laura. They came in and they had a special place for them. You had Ukrainian Americans in Mexico. So as soon as they got off the plane, they already had a card. They typed them in and they walked right into the United States with no issues. Where you had the people of color. I think there were Mexicans, Latin Americans, Central Americans. You even had people from other countries of color that were there waiting to get in, and they were in line and just not only in line, but they were scattered all over the place. It looked like a disaster there where they were. And so the people that were from Ukraine came in and they came into a center where the children were playing. They had a nice place. And I'm like, wow. Now, hold on to your seatbelts.
Okay.
They have something called the United States Congress, what is it called? The UCCE, the United States, UCCU, the United States Congress Committee of Ukraine, to where they make, they have their own Congress. They have their own government within this government here, and they orchestrated that. I put that on Politics with Laura, and I felt, I'm like, whoa. So that's how they were able to do that. It's really wild. It's wild. So when he's talking about, I want people from the Norwegian countries to come, meaning that there are too many people of color, and we want to add a little less color, and that's basically what it is. And in a nutshell, that's basically what that is.
Of course. Do you remember what Texas did to the Haitian migrants not too long ago?
That's something that has always been done. Haitian.
It's sick. It's sick.
But Haiti wasn't supposed to win the war. Ever since Haiti beat Napoleon, the European countries have been jumping on Haiti. And guess what? Haiti is still paying France reparations to this day.
Right.
They impoverished Haiti, not the people. The people are great. It's just that government. The government is doing that. And they impoverished Haiti because what's his name? I can't remember the general's name. And they beat him, beat France, the greatest army, the empire in the world at that time, and they beat them without guns. Well, I'm pretty sure they had guns. They had something, but they beat Napoleon so bad to where he gave up Louisiana Purchase. Just give me some money, let me go home. He was so defeated. And they have never gotten over that. The European countries have never gotten over that. That's why Bill Clinton went down there in the 90s. I mean, I'm not going to get into that. I'm still going to make me upset. The stuff what this country does to other countries. Yeah, you need that police car needs to go on down and go pick up Bill Clinton and Hillary. Let me stop. and Donald Trump.
That's the reason why. There are so many people all around in countries all around the world that despise Americans. And then sometimes Americans get really upset when they find out that these people despise us, but have no clue about the atrocities that our government has inflicted on these people.
Yeah, now here's the interesting part. Now, people have a hard time separating the people from the government, as we do. Now, whenever another Russia goes into the Ukraine, right? We get mad because we're a bunch of yahoos, and we take it out on the people and not the government. Poor Aljo Benchkin. I don't even like hockey, but I like him because I know whenever he's out there, something crazy is going to happen. There's going to be some kind of fist fight. Somebody's going to get jacked up. But then you have people pouring out Russian vodka, canceling Russia, canceling the people. And they're not looking at, it's not the people. They would not be here. They left Russia and they're here.
Even be affected by what's going on.
And
because it's not their fault.
Right. And people don't get that. Now, let's be very, very clear. Like, whenever people look at Americans, They don't look at Black Americans like that because they know that Black Americans have suffered. They look at white Americans like that. It's sad, but well, not sad, but true. But that's really it. That's what it is.
I even heard that in Spain, they actually talk down to them because they think that they're very limited by way of intellect.
Oh,
so when they go, like when these tourists go to the restaurants and such and hotels and stuff in Spain and Madrid and things like that, they talk to them slowly because they believe they'll have a hard time understanding basic information.
It's sad but true. But look, America has betrayed us as being oh man, oh my goodness, I just saw on TV the other day to where they poll different young Californian people or people in California to where they stop and ask a basic question. You can't make this up. You can't make you can't make this okay. You can't make it up because it makes our schools look horrible. Now, they're asking the basic question in the Spanish American War or better the Spanish Mexican the Mexican American War, who participated in it, and they're talking about Spain. I'm like, oh my god. Asked a couple of young people, what is the capital of North America, right? What is the capital of the United States? And they're saying everything but Washington D.C. I was done. I said, you can't you you can't make this up. You can't. I'm like, oh my god. And then when people travel, then it's like, do you want a cup of coffee? Then they treat you like you're an idiot because of what they see.
It's true.
They
sad but true.
They pick some of the most people in the world and like, okay, let's pick that person. No, let's pick that person. It's wild. It's wild. You can't make this stuff up. But DeSantis, he's really, these governors down south are making the sanctuary cities, making these Democratic mayors, these Democratic governors, and these all Democrats, making them, hey, you put it out there, you deal with it. I didn't put it out there. I should not have to deal with this. You deal with it. I hope my phone didn't hang up on you. Are you there?
Oh, okay. He's got his eyes on the White House, you know, and I believe that he's trying to stay in the base's minds. So he's putting political stunts in order to do that, to make sure that they don't forget him, and you know, so that he stays popular because he's got his sights on the White House.
Who's going to forget him? Who is going to forget him sending a private plane to Martha's Vineyard,
spending millions of taxpayer dollars
putting 50 people on the most wealthiest people in the United States / the world. They probably wandered on a Kennedy compound. Who knows? They probably went on Barack Obama's compound because Barack Obama has a lot of money. Oh my goodness! You think what's his name? Mitch Romney. No, Mitch Romney. You think he has money? Oh no.
Yes.
Mitt. Thank you. Mitt Romney has money, but nowhere near Obama. Oh no. You can play that game all you want. I watch. If you ever see him, George Bush Jr. And Michelle and Barack Obama, they always give Michelle a piece of candy. Barack Obama hung out with them when he was little. You can't be broke in the inner city in Chicago, and it's a bunch of bull malarkey.
Mm-hmm.
But DeSantis, he did that, and now you have these senators. Now they're calling this the governor of the governor of Texas. When he did that, people were like, "Oh my goodness, he's a god. They're doing something. They're putting this man on deity status."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're calling the Democrats out on their butt. And keep in mind, I'm an independent. I'm simply a spectator watching a sport. Which way the ball is going? Oh, it's going to get real. 2024.
There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was so nice talking to you. Thank you for taking my call.
Most
I do
definitely.
appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for calling in.
And thank you for using your platform in this way.
Yeah, I thought I would do something a little bit different. When I saw those 100 people on the VP's Harris's property,
Insanity.
I was like, whoa, this is a statement. They're like, we're not done yet. Democrats. And she called up Muriel Bowser, the mayor of DC, and all of a sudden the mayor is trying to get the DOJ in here. But the mayor, I did a video on this on my other channel, made this a sanctuary city. So let's see how she's going to backtrack, look like a liar, and they're going. It may be Republican in DC.
Wow.
It's something. It's something.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. Alrighty.
But I thank you for calling.
Thanks again.
You're very welcome.
Alrighty. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Okay, you too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, that was a great call. If you want to call in, please do. DeSantis sending people to Martha's Vineyard. I'm like, wow. You have a busload of people, a couple of busloads of people on Vice President Harris's doorstep, and also Cara Delevingne went to Nevada Nevada desert doing the man burning bonfire, and she just whatever she did, just completely out of her mind. So if you'd like to call up, please do. Please do. Would you like to call up? Okay. And if you don't want to call up, you can come up if you choose to. And oh my goodness, we're at the 2-hour mark. Wow. I'll hang around a little bit more, and if no one wants to call in or come up, then I'm going to wrap it up. But I got to say, this was a great conversation. Just really good. Just to do a recap on some of the stuff that was said, as far as the people in Los Angeles and California, how you have Skid Row to where now the laws have been, dare I say, bend or suspended. Shall I say that? Dealing with the mass homelessness. It is so bad in San Francisco. And the interesting part is this about San Francisco: you have people that live in Tijuana, Mexico, and they get off. Americans live in Tijuana, Mexico. It's really strange the way it is. You have Tijuana. I keep on saying Tijuana. Tijuana is it's like two cities in one city. One part is for the rich, to where you pay maybe $1,000 or $1,500 a month, for rent. And then right here, right across, you have a barrier to where you have you have the poverty, you have the gang violence, you have all the wild stuff going on there. And what they do is they come across the border, they get on a train, and they work in San Francisco. They work at their jobs, and they come back on the train, and they live in Tijuana to where rent is cheaper. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't. You just can't. It's really interesting. All right. Anybody else want to come up? You want to come up? Or you want to call in? The number's 202-292-7538. If you want to call in. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let it go here. I do appreciate you for stopping by and spending time with me, because you could be anywhere in the world in which you are. You could be doing anything which you are, but guess what? You're spending time with me. And I appreciate that, because I know one thing you can never get back is your time, but you can get back your taxes. On that note, I want to thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you. Bye bye.